Hey guys, basically I'm back here, and today is a very big and special video, if you couldn't already tell by the title and thumbnail. And not only is this a special video, it is actually my second time filming this video, as the first time I filmed it, it was just way too long. There would be way too much to edit, and I just dragged on a lot of things, and just said some jokes that were not funny at all. So this is my second time filming this, which I really have to do this for reviews, but I'm doing it now. So, yeah. Now, you saw the title and thumbnail, but before I actually review the plush, I'm actually going to get into, I'm going to tell you guys basically what you're going to see. Or if you already don't know, if you don't understand, then I'm about to tell you just to understand it better. So if you guys haven't read the Fazbear Fright books, which I don't blame you, basically in the Stitch Wraith epilogue stories, there at the end of one of the stories, there's this giant trash trap, which that's what people called him, but his name was Agony, and I don't necessarily remember or know everything about this character, but the thought of making this guy into a plush didn't actually come from the books. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I recommend watching At This Path Again by Travis Plush Productions. It's a top tier movie, I will say, in 2022 for FNAF plush movies. I will say it is definitely better than All by One Last Night. I will not lie. So yeah, but basically, kind of spoiling, I guess. But if you haven't watched After This Path Again, you have to watch it. It's really good, and I'm kind of spoiling it right now, so you understand. So basically, like in the movie, Afton basically gets a final form, which is Agony from the books, which Travis made into a gigantic plush. And it wasn't until that video came out, or the movie came out, that I realized I think I'm going to make him, because he looks really cool. And this version, my version of Agony, does differ from Travis's, and I feel like different concepts, but I did use this little fan model right here for reference, as it's the only reliable source I can use to make this custom, as there isn't a actual, visual representation of Agony, except, who knows, maybe the Fazbear Fright graphic novels might interpret him in a way, but I doubt that, as the graphic novels aren't the best, but yeah. So, anyways, you basically get the gist of it. I made Agony, and I'm about to show you him right now, and here he is. Yeah, he's a big boy. So here is Agony, and I am so glad to finally release this guy to the world. And I'm telling you guys, this custom has been in the works for over 3 to 4 months. And it's not that it was very freaking difficult. It was difficult, but it wasn't that difficult as it may seem, actually making the whole thing. It was just a tedious process, and it took a long time, very time consuming. But the 3 to 4 months gap or whatever isn't because of all the detail I had to put into this guy. It's mainly just because I didn't know what to settle on for his design. Like, there were multiple points here and there where I was thinking, oh, I'm done with this plush, this is good. Or I'm like, no, I need to add this and get rid of that. Basically, it was a back and forth process of thinking what I think looks good on this guy, and I finally think that this is a satisfying look to Agony, to at least my Agony custom, and I'm finally going to review him. So yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to start off with the difficult part just to get out of the way, which is the body. Now, the whole main body is just one big, it's just a whole dark gray torso, that kind of gives that endoskeleton type feel, like how it should with all the wires and everything. Now, all these details took forever. Like, I had to use a whole entire separate day just to get these details on. And it didn't help, as I had to add even more details to make this guy look more appealing to the eye, I feel like. Because before, he was lacking lots of details that made him, I guess, more I wanted this guy's detail to have, I wanted detail to take up some of the space, some of the empty space, like over here with the shoulders and everything, like these wires and everything, like, while they're small and everything, they still take up lots of space, like these right here. But anyways, all these details are done with just scrap pieces of felt and some spare parts from actual FNAF plushies I used to customize. So basically, whenever I, buy a custom, not custom, but when I buy a FNAF Funko plush, if I'm cutting out, a body part of it or whatever, like an ear or something, I just put them in like a little box or whatever. I'm pretty sure this has been shown in the Basically on a movie as well, a little prop box, but not a prop box, but just scraps and everything. You get the point. But basically, I used some of those scraps here. Like there's this old Funtime Freddy ear that I didn't use, and a part of a Grim Foxy ear, and up here is just a normal Foxy ear, which I made for Foxy's head. And then Foxy's head was it was like one of the easiest parts of this, mainly just cause like I just made it how I make all my other customs made from scratch, and I just cut half of the face, half the head off, so that only remains. But otherwise, like 90% of this, actually 95% of this custom though, this custom's details, is just made from scrap pieces of felt. And I think it works very well, as this combines lots of, like if you don't really know about what the Agony is supposed to be, it's basically meant to be an amalgamation of all the animatronics from the Fazbear Fright books, not including, not counting the blob, because that's just, this is cooler, okay? But you get the point. There's lots of pieces that represent old animatronics, like this piece, which I believe used to be a Bonnie, just this piece, which I don't even know what that belonged to, a Netto skeleton head, lots of wires and eyes, the 1:35 a.m. clock from 1:35 a.m., Foxy's hook from Step Closer. You can you can see things, you can pause a video, you can see them all over the place, like a mini arena. You can see a lot of detail if you really pause the video. So, yeah. That's all there. I don't want to go too deep into this, as there would be way too much to cover. But the arms and the legs, the details on the arms and the legs are mainly the same as the body, where it's just using scrap pieces. But I also, for this plush, I also included pipe cleaner wires. And this one's actually about to fall off. You can see that it's about to fall off, so I need to fix that soon. And this plush also used like felt black wires, or just black felt. So yeah, like, and it just uses to make sure there's not a lot of pipe cleaners. Like there's one here, but I mainly didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do so much of the black pipe cleaners, as they will, like, first of all, the ends of the pipe cleaners are very sharp, and if you like freaking squeeze or plush in the wrong spot where the pipe cleaner is, you're gonna have a little stab, I guess. But yeah, and I also just feel like with the black wires hanging all down, it's all flimsy and everything. It looks cool. I feel like it looks better now. But that's basically all of this whole body. So let's get on to the limbs. So these limbs actually consist of okay, for the legs, they kind of just use the same color as the main body, which is just dark gray. But right here, like, this is still dark gray, but it's like kind of lighter because I use a different material for this. And the reason why this separation is here is because I wanted his legs to bend. But I also didn't like when I added these weren't the this wasn't the purpose I intended for this custom, really, as I wanted to actually make them taller. So that's why I added these, but I didn't really insist on them actually making his legs more bendable, and the arms are already bendable enough, so there's not really much there. And yeah, also lots of the details on this custom, if you couldn't already tell, are done with Sharpie. If I didn't have a Sharpie, this would look like, I don't know, whatever you want to think of, it would look bad. That's how I'll put it. But yeah, okay. And now his feet, which these feet had to go through many changes. When I say many, I mean like 2 changes, 3 if you're counting this one. But basically, kind of like with the Foxy head, I guess, I cut out a shape of like what would be considered the body, and I just cut it in the center, and I just used the split pieces for the foot. As originally the toes were attached to the leg, and there was no actual foot. And so that looked weird, and I actually decided to give it feet. And I feel like these look okay. And the reason why I say okay is mainly because of all the glue stains. When I was making this, when I was making the feet, it was like one of the last things to make for this custom, and I was getting tired, and I didn't feel like patching that up. But you won't, it's barely noticeable unless you put it in a light or something. But that's basically it for the feet. Now, the arms do use a different color and not just the dark gray. It actually uses this light gray material. And then halfway, like up here, so just so this arm's longer, I added this yellow piece here, as this is gonna be amalgamation of all these scrap pieces anyway, so that's kind of why I added that there. But it's actually part of the whole arm. And it's not just a scrap piece that I just glued on. And there's also mini arena right there. And the detail just continues around both arms. They're practically made the same. And the hand itself is just two circles glued together and just stuffed on the inside. I've been doing this method for quite a while, so it wasn't really that difficult. And the fingers had to actually be changed so they look more robotic. So basically, sums the whole plush up. There had to be a lot of changes here and there, but I'm overall proud. I'm overall proud of the result. And if you guys if you look at the smaller right here and look at the hands, you can notice that this hand is looks like a normal robotic hand. Well, this one actually has an endoskeleton hand, a Bonnie arm, and a Foxy arm, or an endoskeleton arm, what I meant to say. I don't know why this is. He also doesn't have a fifth finger, which I don't know if he even had a fifth finger. If he does, I might consider adding that, but honestly, I kind of like it when it's just this. But yeah, this is a lot, and it's just for the body, and that's not even it. There is still a whole back. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on the back, as it's the back, but basically, to cover all this and make it look fitting and everything, I just used lots of spare pieces from old plushies. Like, this is the side that used lots of old scrap pieces, like part of VR Freddy's VR headset right here. There's actually two of them, one right there and one right here, and they're just here. And here's like little feathers from a Glamour Chica plush that I cut off, and Pawnee's face, which is the most noticeable part of the back of the body. And there's also part of a pig patch nose and the other part. And this right here was actually of an old Bonbon custom, which I don't know why I made it. It was like for like 3 years ago, I'm pretty sure, and it's just fading in the dust now. So yeah. And I also used some scrap pieces of my old from scratch customs, like my old System Meritory Bonnie custom I used for right here and right there. So yeah, if you really got a full look at this, you can notice the details and everything. The legs are pretty much just the same. I will say, I'll just talk about the back of the head real quick, since it has the least amount of detail. As you can see, it just uses a few patches and just a couple wires, and that's it. Yeah. Now that we got that out of the way, which took up half of the time of the video, now it's going on to the main event, the head, which, this head is just, like a whole, like, it's basically how I would make my normal, my homemade customs, my ones from scratch. It's how I make it, but it's just all, 10 times bigger, 5 times bigger, whatever. And all the detail here relies on Sharpie, I feel like, black Sharpie. As you can see, there's some shadow behind the eyes, and that's mainly because I colored some Sharpie, but I also did it kind of lightly. Okay, the thing about this, at least for what I do, if you're gonna want to add some black shadows around the eyes, you're gonna want to have to do it lightly. You won't have to push too hard where you can see it, because if you do, it will just blend in and make the eye look bigger. So if you're ever trying to do that, you should probably just try to do it lightly, and just keep going out lightly until it just seems like it fades away. That's my tip of the week. So, yeah. Now, this head was not really much that difficult. Although, when making the ears, I had to use the first part of the ears, like these two right here. I had to make them out of cardboard, as if they were just normal flat ears that I just glued two pieces of felt together, they would just flop over very easily. So that's why I had to use cardboard, and it holds up pretty well. But this ear was like the only one that had to be changed, as this part of the ear right here with the endoskeleton arm kept flopping back and forth because it used a very thin piece of felt, which was glued which was two pieces of felt glued together, but it still kept flopping over back and forth. So I had to kind of cut it and shorten it, so it actually just sticks to here, and it matches, I feel like, and it's still good. And there's all these wire details with some dark gray wires and black wires and all that. Now on to what was a very difficult process, which was making the jaw, or the mouth, I guess. Now, you might not be able to tell from this angle, but looking at this, you can see how intricate this was to make. I don't know if that's the correct word or term to use for this, but I can't think of any other words. So basically, the whole snout is made of cardboard, and if I were to show you how this was made, but I was gonna think of showing you, but this I covered it up with I covered the inside with black, as I didn't want you guys to see all the messiness when I review this for whatever reason, I don't know. But now I kind of regret doing that because I want to show how I actually made this. But basically, it's a very difficult process. I had to cut out lots of intricate pieces, and they had to be very specific for the snout to actually kind of curve in a way. So yeah, this took a while. The snout took the longest time. The jaw was actually fairly easy, and in all details, they weren't too bad. The teeth are just normal flat pieces of felt, and according to the images that I looked up, and by images I mean this one, he actually has a little red stain on his teeth, like there's blood or something, which I don't know if that's intended on what it's supposed to be, but that's what I said do here, and it makes him look more creepy, I feel like. And oh my god, I'm running out of breath from doing this. But anyways, that's not it. There's still one final part, and that's on the inside, which you can see Afton's fucking ugly face. Now, let me explain why this is here. So, if you guys have been living under a rock and you haven't seen the Hottest Dogs animation called Agony, which is based off the Fazbear Fright Stitch Rafe stories, I don't know exactly if what he visually showed in the video is what happens in the Fazbear Fright books, because I didn't read the Fazbear Fright books. But I think it's trustworthy enough. It's a trustworthy source. But either way, basically in the animation, it shows that Afton's head is actually inside Agony's mouth, and so I decided to add it in there along with some wires and everything, with an endoskeleton head and a mini-arena head, which the mini-arena head and the endoskeleton head should be swapped, but I didn't realize that until I glued the mini-arena head already onto the mouth, or in the mouth, I guess. But you can see, that's there. I thought that was a cool detail, and I'm glad I added that. And it's mainly one of the reasons why the jaw had to be redone, or the mouth, because originally the mouth was just flat and attached to the whole head, but I actually decided to cut that and just make it whole three-dimensional so I can actually add the inside, and this looks really good. It looks better. So, yeah, that's it for reviewing the main thing. Now I'm comparing him to a Jumbo, which I'm pretty sure he's already taller than a Jumbo, but compared to this one, which is like the mega size or whatever, yeah, he's taller, and I'm going by this, not by the ears. So, yeah. Now, to compare his size to a normal Funko plush, here's Blake, for example. Let me actually put him by side. Yeah, I think we know who's bigger. Alright guys, that is it. I had a little bit of a voice crack at the beginning, sorry. But yeah, I am really proud of this custom. I feel like that's obvious, as I kind of showed at the beginning, but yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this. I really like this custom. Probably one of my best ones, I feel like, especially now. And also, if you have checked on my community posts, you see that I made a post one day about episode 45 of Life in a Nightmare, which is the season finale, and it's called The Titan. Pretty sure you're gonna know who the Titan is now. So either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. I'm not gonna drag this on any longer, and goodbye. Also, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Woo!